We should have made these three sit next to each other.
No word. I'm on the wrong chair.
You're on the wrong. I don't think you're on the wrong chair, innit? But
I'm on the wrong. Anyways.
Are you on the wrong chair, Krabs?
Yes, I am on the wrong chair.
Why are you on the wrong chair?
Because all three of you are in the exact same boat.
I do not believe that's true.
I don't think that's true either. But I don't think I'm on a boat. You guys are on a boat. Go and say
The thing with naps is you never really know if he is or isn't on a boat.
Yeah,
I'm saying I'm not.
what are you guys doing for Valentine's? We're gonna go around. Start with X.
We're doing something a bit unique this year. We're doing like home cooked meals. So
See what I mean about getting girls, bro?
We gotta try
You start doing anything.
You know what it is?
I haven't seen him
You know
cook
what it
since.
is? You know what it is? So this year we kind of told ourselves, all right, this year, you know, especially time by ourselves, you know, at home, and let's do more activities. So we said, okay, cool. Mum's gone Sierra Leone. Sisters will be in the house, etc. We said, oh, we'll have you know, the whole kitchen, all that to ourselves. You know, make a nice romantic meal, play a bit of music, bit of decorations. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, just having some time. But then I say this now until the food gets burnt, and then we have to go and buy something. And it's fingers crossed.
You're gonna put rose petals on the kitchen floor.
No. I did that for the proposal. Oh, no.
Whoa! For the what? Yo!
We're there yet.
Is it prophetic?
Can you imagine that?
Soft
I came back
launching
to
it.
you guys and said, yeah, I proposed.
Soft launching it on the podcast.
I wouldn't really be that shocked. I can't. I think.
I can't lie. I don't see that happening.
Certain guys, if I hear that they propose, I'm not shocked.
But I think
that's what
if
we're
you
doing.
came and told me that you proposed, I think I just want to know who planned the proposal, because I don't think I trust you to plan your own proposal.
Why do you say that? Why do you say that?
To be fair, actually, when you asked her out, you did a good job. To be fair,
Yeah, because I sent you the
did you do?
pictures.
yeah, you did. You did a good job.
If you don't
so
mind sharing.
So obviously, you know the back of my house, yeah, that room in it must have now put.
It's smiling there. You know what I mean?
You can't win. You can't win.
Hey,
God.
damn. But so cool now. Back of my house now. It was like, so where the door was, I put like a rose petal walkway, and then there was like a table with like all of our nice pictures there, and then around like the whole room there was like not real candles, them don't want to sound cheap, but them Amazon things, innit? Just sticking it all around my room, innit? And the way it is, yeah, you have to walk through the pathway and then like go around my bed, and then on the bed, like, will you be my girl? And then it had like a nice gift that, innit? So,
He said Christian men couldn't be romantic.
you know what it is?
I was about to point that out, bro.
But it happened. But
Amen.
the thing is, yeah, no one helped me with that. It was just the visionary.
I can't lie though.
You should do what you want.
That's actually like I've got hope for your proposal.
Thank you.
Because if that was for him being for his girlfriend,
Yeah.
the
You
proposal
gotta
thing.
step up.
So can you revoke your statement?
Yeah, no, I can't read my statement.
Yeah, that's my one.
Now, so what are you doing for Valentine's?
Me, I'm just. It's a normal Saturday.
It's a Friday.
I didn't even know.
It's a Friday.
I didn't even know it was Saturday.
It's a Friday.
That's how you know he has no.
I thought it was just on a weekend thing. I thought people celebrate on a weekend, like not on the actual day, because I thought people work on the actual
Have you ever
day.
heard of Valentine's?
No,
You haven't? Oh.
I don't.
nah,
Me and
nah,
you
nah. I
both.
don't do Valentine's, nah.
Because we're doing Valentine's, bro.
Yeah, I got uni 9 to 5, bro.
What about 5 to 9?
What you doing for Valentine's?
That's not what you're talking about.
Hey, I've got uni in it. Like I got this and that. Yeah, meta-analysis. Shouts Deborah. I'll continue.
I'll be in Paris, innit?
For a Paris day trip.
Nah.
Right.
Don't worry, we're staying in different places.
Purity.
Yeah, of course, man. We're staying in different Airbnbs across the city, innit?
Who came up with the suggestion of Paris? Was it you or her?
See now, in this life, the hand of God works in mysterious ways, in a way that sometimes you can kill two birds in one stone.
I agree.
So Valentine's is on the Friday. The concert that I wanted to go to is on the Saturday. So
Very well. Fair enough, bro.
What about you, Squid?
I'm in Cove, innit?
that doesn't answer. I didn't ask for the location. I asked for the activity.
Something, innit?
Wow.
Something calm.
Interesting.
Probably something calm. I have different ideas, but I'm speaking somewhere on Friday, on the Saturday, innit? So
where?
we're at men's Bible study.
Oh, yeah.
So it's looking a bit dark, but we'll figure something out.
Mm.
I mean, I think I'm gonna be in ends like from the 10th to the 12th, so maybe do something there. That Friday is a bit techie because then I literally got, so I'm speaking at work, men's Bible study conference. Then the next, literally like in 3 hours, I need to take the whole youth to Berms for like a worship conference thing, prayer. So it's just a bit dark, but we'll find a way. You got to find a way to make it happen.
Yeah. All of that on the back of your team losing the Super Bowl as well. That's gonna be a dark week.
Yeah, that is gonna be a
What,
rough
it's on the
week.
Sunday?
Yeah, the Sunday before. Yeah.
We'll be there.
Hey man, cute stuff.
So what was like, now, you know, the question of Valentine's, what was like your perception of like Valentine's or like stuff like that back before we had, well, some guys here had
Woke
girls.
nonsense. Woke nonsense.
Why do you say that?
I think my perception of a lot of that stuff kind of before, just like it's just extra. It's just extra. Like there's kind of no. Like,
Don't be breaking up.
Are you on that like vibe of like, oh, you should make it Valentine's for her every day?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
I think that's more woke than not.
Yeah, man.
Like, not saying-
I think it's, you know, I think before I was just kind of averse to this whole idea of like, why are you putting all this extra effort in? Kind of thing. Like, it's just what's the it's just, it's not necessary, you know. But I also, to be fair, I also was of the belief. I feel like I said it one time when I was like, I would see how my views changed. Like, I don't know if you guys remember when we did the that YouTube thing with Benny and we spoke about the love languages thing.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, like,
Or
what's
your
this like
love
now?
language,
But it could.
So how's it changed since you started dating?
Like I just care more, innit?
Oh,
That's good though.
Like a lot of stuff the extra effort never seems worth it when you don't have somebody in mind.
Fair.
Yeah, I hear you.
But it's like when you're in the situation, I think if you love the person enough, it will change your perception of things.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
This
God,
guy, wow. You hear this guy back in the days.
It's changed,
bro.
bro.
The transformation by the renewing of his mind, bro.
I'm learning.
You're learning.
Trying to take notes, bro.
I'm taking notes. Hey.
Without going like too deep, obviously some men have girls here. How did you like start speaking to your girl without, you don't have to bring too many details, but like especially for people watching like who maybe who are Christians, who are in the faith, and they're in that place of like I want you know, when Valentine's comes, you start seeing, not that seeing other people's Valentine's should make you have to get someone, but you know, sometimes people get that feeling or get that urge around Valentine's that I actually want to start speaking to someone. How did you guys start speaking to your girls?
I'll go first, innit? So so the way I actually met my girl was off a mutual friend. So I can't, why are you smiling? I can't say this guy's serious, but yeah, so met off a mutual friend now, and when we started talking, you know, this was at a point in our life which I understood afterwards in her life that we weren't really looking for anyone. So when we were actually just talking to each other initially, it was like calm conversations there, but I didn't make it too, you know, there weren't no flirt or anything like that. It was just very much solidified in terms of like a good friendship. And we realised that our characters were bouncing off each other, that we ended up, you know, having a good, not only mutual understanding of each other, but we started to realise that, oh, like certain topics we could talk about. Then we started to talk more about our relationship with God. We realised we could bounce off there. And I think by the time I knew it, I said, okay, cool, there was a nice friendship going on there. We understood each other more on a personal level, but we didn't know if there was a, you know, the click and etc. So I think as time went along, you know, after I explored the friendship, then I was like, okay, maybe I am at a good stage to maybe explore something further in that sense. But I'm trying to keep it as unfiltered as possible. But in that sense, it was good that we started our base as like friendship first, because during times as well, like when you're with a partner, especially for like a long time, that friendship there is key. You're gonna be with them
How
majority
long
of
have
the
you
time.
been together now?
We've been together for nearly 2 years, but we've known each other for almost 3 years. So that friendship there was a good time. Then obviously leading up to Valentine, so we started speaking like 6 months before. When it came to Valentine season, I'm a bit lucky, innit? I can have kill two birds with one stone, because my birthday's right after Valentine's, innit? So we kind of told each other that, okay, we'll do celebrations like my Valentine's and my birthday all in one. Then when we did that, and actually like it was nice, you know, gifts for each other, got to know each other more on a deeper level. It was very, very good. So I think the way I would say anyone kind of like navigate from my personal experience, I think that friendship route was key. I'm not gonna lie, very, very key in it. So that's what I
have a question. How did you? 'Cause I think this is the question that most people have about this. I think girls on the receiving end and guys on the approaching end. So as you realize that you lot got along more. You know your characters bounce off each other well. How did you firstly realize, right, I might want something more? And secondly, how did you go about doing that without being a weirdo?
You know what's funny? Yeah, I was on the phone to just before I came, and she actually asked me a similar question to that, and my response is the way I went about with it is I wanted us to. I didn't want to apply too much pressure, especially when it came to like stuff like talking stages. I didn't want to now go up to her and be like, okay, cool, oh, when we saving up for a house, or when we going to, what you thinking about marriage and all that stuff. I'm not a weirdo to go do that because that will just make the girl run away, innit? So I'd say, like, first of all, like, take it easy and take the person for a like to like self. When I started to realize is when, we started to connect more on an emotional level and also on a personal relationship with God type of level, because it took me a while to navigate when we were around our levels of where we are in terms of our walk, innit? And I feel like when I started to understand that, and I could see how I could provide for her to make her uplift her walk, and how she could provide for me to uplift my walk, I think that was like a next barrier that we accomplished and allowed us to move a lot more forward, innit? And I think once I passed that stage, I was like, okay, cool. Now the click is really starting to form, and then we're moving forward together. Because I realized if I didn't go through that phase, then there's times in our walk right now where I could be like, far in my walk and I don't even know where she is in her walk. And I had to remember, like, especially the fundamentals of that, like knowing around where her walk is, where our walk is, how we can help each other has really gone a long way. So
was there ever a time when you were scared? Like, you see, like when you're thinking about changing the angle from friendship to more, were you ever scared that she'll reject you?
She ain't rejecting me, man.
Blood.
Come on, man. She'll hear this and she'll be like, but nah. You know what it is, yeah?
Saying aura.
It comes back to the story, innit? It comes back to the story of the redemption of Peter, innit? That kind of comes to my mind. Let me tell you why, innit? Let me say my reason why, and then we'll land to my spot, innit? So obviously, with the character of Peter, his character got molded to catch the fish, and then catch, from catching fish in the river to now catching the souls to bring them closer to Christ. But what I remember, like, from learning about that, there's like the character's just being redefined, and in my case, before dating and even before getting closer to Christ, I wouldn't say I'll never use the word saying that I was out here in the field, but I knew how to talk to girls before. I knew how to
Girl, them glucose and that.
Nah, I wouldn't go that far, but I knew how to talk to girls. I knew how to, at least been on dates and etc. But I think when I came to Christ, now that was refined, But the thing is, though, it took me a while to get to that stage, because it's like, it's been refined, but this is like the first time talking to a girl, like, properly and actually dating, because I've never dated before.
So you always had that skill. It just had to be changed a bit.
Yeah. You know what they say, you could put a guy in another pitch, but they still know the same tactics, So that's
Never heard that in my life.
but
Available to work.
no, so yeah, I think being in that, but it took me a while though, because being in that quote unquote Christian setting or dating setting, I didn't know how to navigate like certain ways to move, or like, especially like when it came to like things like quiet time with a girl. Or one thing I learned as well is the importance of space and allowing each other to still flourish individually before kind of coming together. That was like one massive factor that I didn't know at that time. But I'd say that as I've now gone into the course of dating, I wouldn't say I'm experienced yet, because can't lie, like there's some ups and there are some downs, and it would always happen. But I'll definitely say, like, the transition from back then about dating to now has really changed, innit?
Where would you lot say that accountability comes into this? Into like when you're
In terms of like outside accountability.
Yeah, when you're first coming into something with like someone, like how do you approach being accountable and kind of making sure that you're not just moving mad for no reason? Because obviously this is a different kind of pitch. It's a different setting. Like, you're not in the world anymore where you can just do it anyhow. Because obviously, if let's say you see a girl, you like her, you're getting to know her, you feel like you like her and that, and there's a time when I know that, cool, this could potentially be something. Obviously, a lot of us still aren't really there yet, but there's people that have been there. So how do you navigate trying to get their advice or trying to be accountable to them so that you don't lead that girl in a certain way, and then later on you go to her and be like, never really rated you anyways, or whatever it might be. Do you get it?
I think it's firstly kind of dependent on the people that you do or don't have in your life, innit? But I think the first thing first is as soon as you think you might like the person, or you might have some feelings towards them, you should let your friends know. The friends that know you, the friends that, you know, the people that would normally kind of be comfortable to tell you whether you're moving mad or not. In general, I think those are the first people you should know, because I feel like those are the people that they'll have the conversation. They'll probably dig a little bit deeper, ask you the right questions, and I'd like to believe as long as you have like a good friendship with them, they'll tell you if you're kind of tweaking a bit or not. And then as soon as you, let's say now you have some feelings for this girl or this guy, and now you don't have this understanding that you don't both know you rate each other. I think as it's advancing from that point onwards, if you have anybody like older or more experienced enough, that's when you should let them know. I can't lie, I like this girl, get me, or I like this guy, we've spoken about it, kind of thing, and I think this could actually become a relationship or go somewhere further. And then,
I think like I was reminded about like when Quavs was speaking, like there's so many levels of accountability when it comes to like Christian dating or starting to start that dating journey, because I guess like the first thing that Quavs spoke about was like a moment where you're unsure whether you rate the person, but you have an idea that you might, if that makes sense. Like that bit is techie, because it's like you don't want to, your actions when it gets to that point where you're like a bit 50-50. I don't know if I really rate this person or if I don't rate this person. It's very, very important there, because you don't want to end up leading someone on. Do you get what I mean?
how did you
like,
navigate that stage?
with my girlfriend.
Or were you sure straight away?
I was sure straight away.
Go on! Yeah!
We didn't have to have a conversation, bro.
Bro, I saw the snaps came on my
Oh, but when you lot went to the
Mercy's thing.
Yeah.
Bro,
I need
brother
to-
saw her.
Was it not? It was
Bro.
October, no?
Yeah,
October
yeah.
2020.
2022. Bumi was on my table, bro.
we there as
Bumi
well.
was on my table. She was there, bro.
She was the one that moved
She
the
was
seats.
the one that
innit?
went-
You moved seats so that
Abigail moved seats. ET's bag was
Oh,
on the
because
seat.
because Bumi could, but I was like, he was on my table first.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then he left, bro. He left,
Next
bro.
to
Man's here. Where,
Man said, "I'ma get that."
He's opposite. He's
I like
opposite
that.
me. Yeah, we're just talking.
Sometimes you have
Obviously,
to
she
go get
comes
a book,
in.
bro.
She comes in.
Yeah.
He's seen her. I've known this guy. I've
Same.
known that he's seen her, bro. But I didn't know. I can't lie. He even shot me that day. I didn't know he was actually going to chat to her that
Oh,
day, bro.
they don't.
Bro.
You know, he was.
I was there no matter what. I was not leaving that place.
When they say what's
to
it
leave him
called?
something.
When a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing.
Yeah,
Amen,
What's
bro.
that verse?
probably.
Somewhere in Providence.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Sound like a proper
The SQ said, "Pass me that ball, bro."
Nah,
Bro,
literally,
man's
bro.
looked left. I was talking to a friend on the left. I've looked again.
He's
not
gone.
there, bro.
He's gone.
Look to my right. He's there,
there.
sitting there.
But you know what?
He's chatting,
It brings
bro.
a smile though when you see that.
When
Like,
you see-
Hey.
when you see your guy shooting, innit?
You know what it is? It's like there was no overthinking. Like it was just straight. Like
He saw what he wanted.
you know
You
what I
got,
mean?
bro.
Yeah.
I saw. It's like the split second, bro. Can I get that ball off?
Yeah.
Touchdown straight, bro.
let me, in terms of, all right, so you've navigated in terms of accountability very early on. Was there a moment, especially like very early on, where you had to maybe like cool off a little bit, like, okay, maybe I'm going too fast in early phases?
I don't think so. There was a time where I cooled off, but I was just out of fearball. Like, I was I was just scared, because it was like, I just know that this girl is. I know that this is my woman, innit?
In fact, you see how you said that part, like, talking about like the kind of cooling off thing. You see, was there ever a split second where you thought, like I do genuinely rate this girl and I do want it to go to a relationship and maybe further, but like I don't know if, like, did you always trust your conviction in that?
Yeah, and some, like, I guess I trusted it straight away in that sense that I know I want this to go far.
Yeah.
But like I said, there was times where I got scared because like I really liked her, and like I said, I knew that this is my woman, and it was just kind of like I don't want to mess things up. Do you get what I mean? So I was just kind of overthinking. Like I was just praying about it like, every second, bro. Like God, like please take this away if this is not Gara, like because I don't want to get there, and then it's not it. Do you get what I mean? And so there was lots of, I'll be real, there was so much fear, like, especially, I say, like, the first 2 weeks you're just running around having fun, but then you're realizing that, yo,
Oh, the video is there.
funny stuff, man.
Literally, on that, because
Hey, that is too funny.
On that, because obviously I don't want any listeners to get it misconstrued. You said like, oh, like I knew this in my woman. And obviously, I want people to know that we're not talking about, oh, God said she was my wife. Kind of vibe.
Yeah.
So when you say like, oh, like from the get go, you kind of explain that thought process of like knowing like, oh, man's live.
I don't know, like, without getting like overly spiritual, innit? I just knew like when I was sitting down next to her, like I heard God say something to me about, I want to keep this one private, so I won't say exactly what he said to me, but he said something really profound to me. But I didn't, and I knew straight away, like I said, I knew straight away what it meant. Obviously, I didn't express it to her what it meant, but it's along the same lines, like God is saying that this is what it's meant to be forever, kind of thing. But obviously I had never spoken to her before. That's why it was so unique. You see when you like someone and
Would you call it love at first sight?
Yeah, straight away.
Fair.
Yeah, straight away.
Guys, I'm living in me.
But obviously, like love progresses. The love I had for her then is not the love I have for now. Clearly, hopefully it should be like that. I feel like that season of life was a very interesting season of life. Like God was doing a lot of new things in me, and I feel like that was like one of the key moments of what God would do for me forever, if that makes sense. So I knew like this was like a, what's that word? Checkpoint. Like a checkpoint in my life that this is what's going to happen essentially. And so I think that's what made it more scary, because I feel like God so profoundly say something to me, and it was like, okay, you've said this, but I haven't really spoken to her. I don't know where she's at. I don't know how she feels about me. I don't know anything. Do you get what I mean? Even that day, as Bumi was there, I didn't really speak to her like that. We spoke as a group. It wasn't like, I didn't flirt on that whole day.
How did you keep your composure from the time when God's showing you raw, live, and you seeing her, you're thinking, raw, she's calm. So how did you go between those two things and not?
Buckle. I think it's because I just started speaking to her, and we just enjoyed speaking to each other so much. Like that's why I always used to told God every time I sleep, I was like, God, like, I love speaking to this girl. Like, what the hell? Like, I just love speaking to this girl. And I used to say that. I promise you, I said that like every single day for like a month.
Mad cute.
Like
man.
before bed. Just like, I just love speaking to this girl. And so because there was so much enjoyment, there wasn't time to like overthink. But then when I realized that, oh crap, like when it hit, I always tell her, like in November, I know you like me, like straight away. I just knew. There was one day where I just knew, she sent me a video. I was like, yeah. You know when girls play, she sent me a video like 10 a.m. She sent us a video of us two like talking at there, and I was like, yeah, you like.
Bro, she basically passed you the ball.
Yeah. So from then, I was like, okay, then she definitely likes me.
Yeah.
And so then that's when the overthinking probably started, because it's like, we're on the same page, we're playing the same ball, like, I really want to mess up, and obviously
One thing when you're on the pitch, the another thing when you're through and go.
Exactly.
Nah, you know what?
And so that's where probably the fear came in, especially because obviously you man know my last relationship was dark, and so I didn't want that to happen again, obviously, innit? And so there was a lot of fear then, and that's when I started overthinking, like, that's when I started praying, like, please God, take this away, kind of thing, like, I don't want, I remember that time I came into the group chat, remember that time I said, and my head was gone, bro, I sent like this 4-minute video, like, oh, I think I'm gonna blow up, like, I can't.
I think we were in Burns that time and we were going.
Yeah, I remember. My head was gone. My head was gone.
You know, just a follow-up question, like, you mentioned, like, your ex and people that may be listening to this, like, may have people in the past that they talk to. How did you kind of, like, separate that from thinking of any comparisons from the past?
How do I separate?
Like you're not putting what went on in your last situation into
This one. Okay. I'd say, I think I was very confident that I've changed as a person. I felt like my last relationship, obviously you man were there, you know how
I saw a snap of that.
we were there front
row and center. So and I just feel like around that time I was first of all, I was new in Christ. I was just very childish and playful. Like, I wasn't really serious. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas when I met,
DSQ with the twist. Damn.
yeah, with the gel twist, bro, spooky goose, SST,
And the goose,
And the McQueen.
and the yo, those days were dark. What's it called? Yeah, I felt like I changed so much over that period of time, especially like because I was like before lockdown ish. It was just before. It was February 2020. That was all February 2020. And so I think I just changed. I was very confident in my change, like in terms of me like maturing as a man. God giving me more responsibility, because obviously now I was like a live leader as well and things like that. So I felt like I just changed as a man. I think I started to know what it meant to be a man of God in every area. Because I think before then, I only knew what it meant to be a man of God with like my spiritual disciplines, like know how to read the Bible, know how to pray, know how to interact with God. But I didn't know how to be a man of God when it comes to stewarding another person. Do you get what I mean? So I think that was the biggest change. So that gave me a lot of confidence. But at the same time, like I said, I was just very scared because I really didn't want to mess things up. And like, I felt like, you know, she is really special. And I was like, man, if I don't want to cook myself. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. And so that thing was really, really hard, to be fair. Like, that thing was really, really hard.
And then on the flip side, I kind of wanted to ask you two, especially, well, I mean you as well. Obviously, DSQ kind of
Get singling this out like this.
Yeah, bro. Obviously, DSQ had a situation where he's coming out of a situation.
Sorry, say that
not
again,
not coming straight out of a situation, but like you had some history of a situation. Whereas you see, that's what you spoke about like kind of going into this is your first kind of time dating as a Christian. And like for you guys, does the I guess this is depending on what you will say, but like the lack of a past situation, does that also create a different kind of fear potentially?
Yes. For me especially, it was. I remember when I first started talking to her. I think you two might have remembered.
I remember very vividly. I was waiting for you to mention it. You didn't mention it in your story before.
Yeah. Well, coming back to that, I think I mentioned it to everyone, but I think you two might have had a discussion about it. I can't remember. But I must have came into the call one time and I felt like, you know, there was like a dream or feeling where I was thinking like, you know, don't talk to her. Like that was just ringing in my head.
I remember this. Yeah.
So I was
spooky ball.
I was like, okay, cool. Like, I didn't know.
Oh yeah. sorry. I'm reliving it.
Well, long story short, yeah, there was like a feeling one of the nights. This was before we started like speaking on the phone, but we always speak regularly on text, innit? Like long VNs. There was like a feeling I got one night, thinking like, oh, you know, like don't speak to her. But it wasn't no dream, no vision, no nothing. It was just like something that just came and then just left. So obviously, because I was quite new into this, I was thinking like, okay, how do I navigate this type of feeling in it? So when it came to like me actually like talking to her on the phone, I was a lot more standoffish because I was like, oh yeah, you know, automatically I'm thinking, oh yeah, it's from God. You know, I shouldn't talk to her. So let me just move a bit standoffish. Then I remember I was talking to like BN and the guys. They're saying that for like a feeling or a thought, especially that comes into your head, don't disregard it if you're not pressed into it, and you know, really go like deep into it. Like it doesn't just take one feeling, then okay, that's the answer. You know, you got to pray about it. You got to, you know, speak to people about it. Make sure that you're in a position where, you know, the feeling that, because the same way you're thinking it's from God, it could genuinely be from the enemy as well. And I realized that over time, the more and more I was with her, and the more and more as well, like sharing my story, sharing the journey as well of the man them, you know, giving advice, I realized that, okay, you know, this was a thought in my head to try and push me away or to try and divert me. But it made me realize that in that time I had to trust God even more to press into these things and try and, you know, get myself out from there. And I can't lie, I was, you know, there was still an element of fear, because at the back of my mind I was thinking, you know, I'm at that right stage, and there's things that will come into your head like, oh, financially, you know, now being with a girl, like you never want to see it as burdensome, but you know, it can be spenny in different areas. Also in terms of like with my walk, so I've been in the faith for about maybe 2-3 years properly. But like there was still, I still had doubts, because I'm thinking like, okay, would I fall into like temptation, or if that does happen, like, do I just blow it up type of thing? Because in the past, yes, I haven't been dated, but I've talked to girls before, but it's like I wouldn't be thinking about those things in the back of my head. And I always thought like, okay, what's the optimum point that I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. And then I think it just got to a point now where I think I had to just look around myself, like our interactions, you know, the journey we've been so far. And I think it brought a level of confidence. And I remember when I actually like made her my girlfriend, there was like a shower of like just peace that just came. Like she was crying in, I'm thinking, like,
what are the guys doing?
Shower of peace. I've never heard that phrase.
Shower of peace. That's not even from the Bible. He made it himself. That's his. That's his.
Shower of peace.
That's his.
You gotta use that as a vow, bro.
because obviously like she saw the people crying and etc. I'm like, okay, cool, like I get it.
Did you cry?
No. But like, so did I cry? I don't think I cried. But there was like, as I stood there, and obviously she's like, oh, I really appreciate it. And we just went into a time of like prayer, of like the relationship,
so
like really
cute.
just praying.
So
Then it made me realise, like, you know what it is? It made me realise that fear, and I want like anyone that's listening as well to like not let that fear be that true determinant of where like God's gonna take you. You know what I'm saying? Because literally when I had that feeling at the past, the way I was moving for like a good few weeks, just telling the guys, even like our conversations with her was like, and the thing is as well, I will add one part. During that time, I think obviously Squared was talking to his girl, Bien, which we're gonna get on to, bro. We're gonna get on to soon, didn't it? It's one thing that I didn't realize, especially in my walk in my early times, that maybe some people can relate, is that when I heard from you guys, oh, God spoke to me about this, or God spoke to me that this is what's going to happen now. I didn't get that as much from the start. So when I had that feeling, I was like automatically, oh yeah, God's speaking to me, because I heard around that, oh yeah, God speaks to you guys about this relationship. And I think it's important for anyone listening to, obviously it's not a comparison thing, but in terms of the way God speaks to you, it could be different ways of different experiences of how he could show that, he speaks to you, or how he's bringing you guys even closer together. So I'll definitely say, combining all those things, the fear eventually went away and you lived a life with no regrets in it. So,
and I think what I say, is that like using what both Squared and Axe have said in terms of like this fear thing, right? Like the fear thing can be used in a good way. Not fear in the sense of like, oh, I'm so scared, but fear in the sense of like you didn't want to mess it up, right? And having that fear of like, not fear, but having that caution of not wanting to mess it up, it can make you act right. And that's why like I would say that you've got to be at a certain level in terms of like your maturity in the faith, because one thing that I feel like we've realized and we speak about all the time as we've grown in the faith is that like when you get a girl or you have a girl in your life, it's not just about, oh, I love her, I like her, she's great, she's gonna be a helper, and then that's it. It's like that element of you're cleaning her, bro. Like you're helping her to become the glory self that God has intended for her to be. Do you know what I'm saying? When we read Ephesians chapter 5 verse 27, and it talks about how Christ, he's presenting the church, as blameless, as holy,
spotless,
as spotless. That's the same kind of attitude that we should have when we have girls. So having that kind of fear of like, I don't want to mess this up, that caution, it makes you approach it in a way that you want to present her blameless. You want to present her holy, and you want to be careful, because like, what I've seen as well is that you see when you come to the faith first time and you're bare like zealous and you're bare like you're so careful of like, oh, I don't want to do this, and there's that I don't want to do this. Maybe fear, but like it's also good because it keeps you from certain things. But sometimes when you get a bit older in the faith or mature in the faith, you kind of lose that kind of sense of like, well, I shouldn't be doing this. You lose that reverence.
You get too complacent.
You get complacent. You start doing anything, and that's what I've realized with like guys and girls as well. Like where when you first have a girl and you're mature in the faith and you're looking at it like, this is someone that God has entrusted into my hands. I want to take care of this properly. You're so careful of what you want to do and what you shouldn't do, what you should do. But as you get older, you have to be very careful, because like slowly you can kind of like slip into like the standard just drops.
That's actually very real.
The standard drops, and it's like we have to go back to the drawing board of what is the standard of excellence that God has called us to when it comes to our relationship with girls, our relationship with guys, or whatever it might be. Because I was talking to Squad about it earlier. The Bible says, make no provision for anything that is bad. Like, put on Christ, make no provision. Romans chapter 13, verse 14. But a lot of times, in the way that we do things, especially now that we're in, like, when we look at, like, Christian couples or whatever it might be, the Christian setting nowadays, we kind of we kind of look around and see that because other people might be doing certain things and it looks like it's okay, we kind of move away from the standard that God has called us to and just do what they do, because it's like they do it and there's nothing really bad coming from it, so it's calm. For example, like let's say, I don't know, kissing, for example. I remember when we first had this kind of like example, when we first had this conversation like a couple of years ago, we were saying, oh yeah, no, kissing's calm, like as long as it doesn't lead to whatever. But what I've realized over the years is that like we should sort of asking ourselves, what can we do, or what is like, what can we do? Is more like, does it glorify God? And if it's a thing where it's like it doesn't glorify God and you have to genuinely stay away from it because you know that you're making provision for something that shouldn't be there in the first place, stay away from it. But we kind of move away from that kind of little fear and caution that we have at first, and as we mature, we kind of just say, you know what, like, we've arrived now. And that's when you start to
trust yourself too much.
Then you start to trust yourself too much, and then as a result, You just start to do things, and then you don't want to look like over spiritual. I don't want to do this, but sometimes it's needed, bro.
Yeah.
Sometimes those goalposts don't need to change,
And
bro.
I think that's
They need to
something
stay where they are.
That you see, especially in the prep time or like pursuing a girl, you see like how there's this thing people talk about, like how guys don't put in the same effort when they've got the girl.
Yeah.
I think that's firstly you have to guard against that. Just on a loving somebody like Christ loves, you shouldn't
Sacrificial,
do you
bro.
get me? But I think also in the sense of like in terms of how you view your relationship with God, I think the thought process can be like, when you're seeking God to understand, am I ready? Is this for me? Kind of whatever. You're seeking the face of God. Then you've got it cut up.
Yeah, 100%.
But that's not what you want to do, because it's when at the moment that you ask your girl or your guy asks you out, the work just starts.
Yeah.
And I think that it's very easy sometimes to kind of I think that even with me, I feel like when I got into a relationship, I think that, especially because mine was quite a long-winded process, I think I kind of took the foot off the gas a bit. But I think I kind of went into
arrived.
I went into the space where like I was very thankful to God. Like I think a lot of my prayer regarding my relationship at that time was just praise and thanksgiving, like get me, etc., etc. But I feel like in that, it's like, how do I say it? Is that you see somebody gives you a present, you should be thankful for the fact that you've got it. However, you must continue to seek the wisdom that you need to use that present well.
Well, yeah.
And I think that's where I think after it's like, hey, we're here, but we're cool, we're chilling. I thank you, God, you did a good thing.
As you said, do you feel like there was a point where there was maybe like a spiritual burnout that may have occurred, especially like in the early stages of when you guys were couples?
I think there was a couple of things that kind of contributed to it. I think that also the timing of it was good and bad, because I think at the time when me and her started talking again was the week before my grandma died. So, and then when I asked her out was I think a month after I came back from Uganda. So you see at that time, hey bro, I wasn't trying to pray for nothing, bro. I'm like, hey, we've been praying hard these past 4 months, bro. We're good, man. You get? And it's like at that point, you're just like, hey God, thank you, man. Hey, thank you. You get? And I think there definitely was some burnout and some kind of fatigue because also at that point, me and her started talking almost 2 years before then. So at that time, bro, I prayed every prayer point, bro. It's thinking, bro.
Hey, we're here.
You, bro.
I feel like what you both said that brings up a good point in terms of like someone like anyone who's like kind of beginning this dating process. Like at the beginning, you are overly cautious. I spoke about fear and all that, and Kwaz spoke about the good things of it. And I think you see when you're at that point of like a lot of fear controlling things, there's a lot of things that you might miss out on, if that makes sense. There's a lot of things that you sacrifice out of that reverence to God and fear, and which is good. But it's important that I guess when you start dating, I don't know about you, man, if you relate, my mindset definitely switched to like, I don't want to let fear mean that I miss out on X, Y, and Z. Do you get what I mean? Because I'm thinking about, I don't want the relationship to suffer, so I want to make sure I be doing X, Y, and Z. Whether
Give an example for that.
I'll put a very easy example, like kissing, for example. It's like, you think like, in your mind, it's like, I don't want a relationship, the intimacy to not be there.
I'm talking about on the other way around. Like,
okay. No, I'm
doing things.
No, I'm talking about like, you see at the beginning, like I'm saying, that you're really fearful, so you put up some boundaries that you don't want to do because you want to do things right and you don't want to make provision for evil, for sin or something like that. But now when you begin the date, when you're beginning dating, you kind of flip it around. You're like, I don't want to do things to sacrifice the enjoyment of the relationship. Do you get what I mean? And then that can lead into very easy mistakes. And again, like Quabs was saying, like provision for like sin. And so like my encouragement for people is that cautiousness kind of always stays. I had a good conversation with one of my brethren who started dating someone, and he said it like this.
Shout him, man.
Shout him, bro. Good guy. We're talking about like the different forms of love in the Greek, and we're talking about like agape, that Christ sacrificial love. Eros, obviously the kind of sexual intimate love, and then we're talking about philia or what I forgot. And that French.
What about what's that one?
Storge.
Is that love of
But we
faith?
spoke about those three in it. So friendship, intimacy, and agape, like Christ-centered love. And one thing that we were going back and forth just talking about, because he's starting to date as well. And he said something that was really, I thought was so wise. He was saying like, he doesn't believe there's ever a time that you sacrifice, if you sacrifice that eros love out of reverence and fear of God, that God will pattern the philia and he will pattern the agape.
Hey, can we go back to English? I've lost you in the Greek, bro. Wait. Eros is the romantic. Philia is the friend.
Yeah. So you said if you sacrifice that intimate sexual love.
Is it actually sexual? Or is it romantic?
Romantic, romantic,
It's
intimate.
very different.
Yeah,
But
it's kind of that. Yeah, if you sacrifice that romantic, that what's it called? Intimate love for the sake of holiness and purity, and you what's it called? You pursue the friendship love and the Christ-centered love. He says that he has this deep conviction that when that eros love needs to be stored up, God will rise it.
Yeah,
and I can't lie. It sounds crazy, but I can't lie. When us having that conversation, I was like, bro, that's a beautiful thing.
Can I say something as well? I think this is a bit of a warning as well. I think this is more to guys than girls. To not be pressured into being overly romantic.
Yeah.
Because I think not always in it, but a lot of girls like that kind of romantic, touchy-feely, my man kind of thing. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's a natural
touching your beard and that.
Hey, just cut yourself, man. But I'm like, that's the kind of thing that, you know, and I think as a guy, naturally, if you like a girl, you wanna give that to her, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, cuddle her and that. Get me and that, get flowers and all them things there. But I think that you have to, as a man, in that relationship, what you have to do is be firm with your boundaries, because whatever you let drop is where you'll go.
Yeah.
And I think you have to kind of remember, and sometimes be stern, because I think that sometimes the fear is, if I don't give her that kind of love like she wants, she'll leave or she won't be happy, etc., etc. But you have to kind of, it's your job as well as it is hers to reassure each other of what you're doing there.
Yeah.
And I think that even going back to what you spoke about like the fear thing and whatnot, you see when you talk about Romans 12 about the transformation of your mind, after it says, so that you will know his will that is perfect. And I think that we must remember that that's the whole point of this. And I think when it comes to readiness of are you ready or are you not ready, the number one metric for me is when you look at your life, how much do you actually want the will of God? Like, is it a thing whereby you just want things and you want to be a Christian and, you know, pray and whatnot, or is it that you want every single part of your life to reflect what God wants more than what you want?
Yeah.
Because then when it comes to these kind of situations, you lot can have those conversations and be like, cool, we might feel like this or want this, but it's a timing thing. Because if the will of God is for us to build until that point, we'll not risk it.
Yeah.
And I think it's that kind of thing of treating it with a care.
Yeah.
You know, it's that you seek that friendship love first, because you know that that's what we need to build right now. And obviously there should be a romantic understanding for sure, innit?
Yeah, of course.
But within safeguards.
Within the
Because
boundaries.
otherwise, it can get very dark very quick.
Very quickly. And then, like, me and Squid was saying, like, bro, you will never regret being obedient, bro. Like, but being disobedient, that can take you down a whole different path.
And also, a hard
like,
thing as well that people may not understand. You see about that obedience thing. If you're obedient to God, this goes for anything, not even just relationships. If you're in any setting and you're obedient to God, and it means that you lose the situation or the person or the people,
you should be happy, bro.
This is more than enough.
Remember, even with me, like before I started going out with. Did we say your girlfriend's name was on here? I don't know.
It depends. I don't think
It's your pod, bro. Do what you want.
But no one said their girlfriend's name before I started going out with my girl, innit? She's a private person.
Fair enough.
Before I started going out with my girl, remember, like in that summer, there was two other potentials in that summer.
Them.
Yeah.
And one of them came my way, and I was obedient to God. God said, #nah, like this ain't it.
Blow that up.
And had to tell her, nah, this has to end, because God said no, essentially, which was one of the worst conversations I ever had with someone.
Yeah.
But what's it called? Like Quab said, you never regret being obedient. If I had disobeyed God, I wouldn't be where I am today. Do you get what I mean? And so the obedience, and it was hard. Like, it actually was hard. It was definitely easier because I wasn't there at that point where I had feelings for this girl, if that makes sense. But I hadn't.
Sorry, is this D or is it G?
G. Who's D? Oh, that wasn't God.
That's sharp.
That was on your own accord,
That was my own accord.
Your own accord, I hear it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking
Do you-
about B was on my own accord as well.
No. You got a history, bro.
Nah, D was 2021.
Oh,
That was
I forget,
2021.
bro. Yeah, oh damn.
Yeah, crazy.
But G was from God, and
Yeah.
if I wasn't obedient, I would have missed out. And
Yeah, you wouldn't be where you are now.
I wouldn't be where I am now.
No,
So
yeah.
like Quab said, you never regret obedience. But in the same sense as well, even obedience and the stories that with all of these alphabetical names, there's also times where you have. I think sometimes people over spiritualize when getting to know someone. Sometimes,
Yeah.
like I said, I've had experiences where God has definitely told me no, but there's also been times where God hasn't said anything, and it's kind of up to you. And I think sometimes, like, I was talking to one of my friends, and she was saying, like, the guy that she was talking to, like, just kind of being a bit weird, like, oh, I don't know what God is saying right now. And like, there's a good level of that, but sometimes it's like you're tiptoeing around that God aspect, and it's kind of unfair for the other party to a certain extent.
You don't wanna. I think there's something that I learned as well. You don't want to communicate uncertainty, not because you're not uncertain, and you don't want to communicate certainty when you're not certain. But sometimes certain things don't need to be said. Like, you don't always need to vocalize your process. Your process is your process, and they should also be having their own process. And you know, when the time comes or you feel like it's necessary to have that conversation, speak about it. But the person doesn't always need step by step. I'm not speaking to God. I'm not sure yet.
I remember you did
I'm not gonna
that.
lie.
Actually,
I was
yeah.
gonna say, you see with that, yeah, not that I disagree. I don't vocalize my thoughts in it. So when I've been in situations where like I'm trying to like figure it out, I went with that approach. Like, obviously I don't vocalize it. Like, I'm figuring it out, sort of thing. And it's kind of like, it's not that it worked or didn't work in my favor, but it didn't pan out in a way that I feel like the person didn't feel like sort of respected, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like they felt like, even though it's my process and even though I'm thinking, okay, cool, what's God saying about the situation, at the same time, it's our situation. So
That's
you need to be involved as much. Like, she needs to be involved in what I say.
I feel like you have to throw
So,
out
like,
a couple. You can't keep them in the dark. You
Yeah,
can't just
yeah,
be
yeah, that's what I'm
like,
trying
you
to
can't
do.
keep your process
Cool.
to yourself. Then you come back out of nowhere. Oh yeah, God said I'm not live, kind of thing. You kind of have to like throw it in there a bit. Like,
But you don't have to show them the extent.
exactly. The example of that, I was talking with my friend, like, he was showing her the extent. Like, he's like, day by day update. It's like,
minute by minute.
But I didn't hear anything today, but I got quiet time in the evening. maybe I'll hear something
Give
then.
me till 8 p.m. I'm outside.
Like, what's it called? Like, let's go for brunch. Wait, why is he busting up?
Nothing. Continue.
Let's go for brunch. I think I need to fast on that one still. Like,
Bro, no. That's actually a real situation I heard about, you know.
yeah, bro, it's real.
Let's step out to get food. I'm gonna see what God says, and I'm not saying you shouldn't do that, innit? But it's made me laugh.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I thought sometimes you straight. If you're, I don't know, man.
People are playing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you guys actually think you have to hear from God? Like, this is her.
No.
Nah, you know what it is, even with that, yeah, like that question, like, it gets asked a lot, and I guess it's just based on communicating with God, but across everything, like, it's not that it's a child always wants to hear. A child needs to hear what their parents says, as in a child must hear the instructions of do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that, whatever. But eventually that child grows, and it's not that they don't need to hear the instructions anymore, because it's just that the instructions have been instilled in them so much, the experiences are so embedded that they should reach a point where it's like whatever they do is in step with the Spirit. Like the Bible says, the Galatians, for example,
If we live by the Spirit, we walk in step.
Like Paul told the Galatians, like, so if you received it by the Spirit, why is it that you could try to continue in the flesh? Like, just continue in the Spirit. And their problem was like they were hearing so many. They were struggling with like trying to hear what God was saying. They were listening to the wrong gospel. They were taking in the wrong people and everything. So like in their pursuit of I need to hear what God is saying, they just missed the fundamentals that you are now in the Spirit. Like the Spirit of God is in you. God is within you, working within you. So like it's not that completely ignore and not hear what God is saying, but it's like sometimes when it is quiet, like you have that category, that library of experiences that God has showed you and the lessons you've learned from God. So go back, look in there, look in the Word, and like, you know, you don't need to hear the voice. Like the Word is there as well. Read the Bible, bro.
Thank you. And I think that there's there is a caveat to this though.
There is, yeah.
But and you caveat at the end that the Bible's here. I think that because I think there's a flip side. Some people kind of like, oh, I have the spirit, so I can just vibe with it.
Yeah.
And I'll know it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you won't know because feelings will get in the way.
Feelings are feelings, innit? Like,
And
bro.
you'll just kind of be like, oh, I felt right.
Yeah.
Bro, that's a bongo thing. But I think that it's I think that actually because do you know what it reminds me of? You see how like when you're young, you know, like sometimes let's say you're going to family function, your mom will tell you, oh, don't do this or don't do that, or make sure you greet the elders, etc.
Yeah.
When you're a kid. But now when you step in the function, you just know what
You just do it,
You
right?
greet, you serve like this, you do this. You know.
And when you don't do it, you kind of feel like
You know you
sometimes
fucked
I see, sometimes I see like, and I'll see. I was at a wedding, and I've seen uncles that I have no relation. I don't know them. Like I know, but they're on my side of the family kind of line in it. So it's like, I'm gonna go say hi to them like I know them, sort of thing. Because it's like, in my mind, like my mom just always told me, I don't need my mom saying to me again, "I'll go say hi to," you know what I mean? But
And I think it's exactly this. I think this is why you don't need to hear. I think the prayer that I prayed before I started talking to my girlfriend, I said, God, is there any reason why I shouldn't be here?
Yeah.
Like I kind of, because I think one of the big things that's important to pray on, I think, is your blind spots.
yeah,
Like kind of
check your.
Am I lying to myself? Do you have a lust problem? Do you have a greed problem? Are you selfish? Are you considerate?
Are you bored?
Do you get me?
you bored?
Like
Yeah.
praying like, God, are my intentions right here? Is there any reason why you don't want me to be at this place right now?
Yeah.
And then I think that's the first green light that you need. Just are you actually alive for this? Because God might be like, I can't do that. This ain't your time, brother.
Yeah.
Relax, sit this one out.
And then that's why I say that there's importance in obedience.
Yes.
Because all of this stuff, as you said, like what makes you kind of grow to the point where you go to the family function and you still can greet the uncles and the aunties the right way is because you're obedient, like you're doing the right things that you were taught from the beginning.
Yeah.
And it's like when you're walking with a girl or you're walking with a guy and you're trying to get to know them, and that the Bible has shown you a lot of things that you should do. So you don't necessarily need like God's like, Crabs, do this to begin with. And I talk all the time because the Bible's there. Like, you know that cool, I shouldn't, I don't know, be sexual immoral with her. I should, treat her with care. All of these things that are there, you know what you should do. So as you're walking with, as you're praying about it, as time goes on, you're praying these prayers are like, God, as God said, you can actually pray the prayer, God, if this is not from me, blow it up. And the reality is, a lot of times, God will actually just blow it up, bro. Yeah. In a way, one of the man them, they had this similar situation. They saw a girl, they thought, maybe she's calm and that. Bro, they asked God, oh, God, is she... Bro, the next day she came to him and said, I can't lie. And he was just like, rah, that prayer, fair's in it. And it's like, but all
That's
of it...
so dark, man.
It's dark, innit? But it's one of those ones where, like, if you're genuinely, as you said, if you're genuinely seeking the will of God, you don't mind what God does.
This is the thing.
You
I've
don't
done
mind.
that, like I prayed. I've asked God, like, obviously learning from experiences. It was like a few months ago, and I was like, oh God, like, see this year, like,
A few months ago.
something. Yeah, I was like, something's going on.
This guy.
A few months ago.
Can I? Cool.
Go on.
Alright, cool. So I was, so I said, like, I feel like I'm seeing things and I'm hearing things and I'm like obviously doing things and like and I'm understanding in it what the situation is.
Yeah.
But like, am I like? Is it time? Is it like? What's the like? What is your say on this in it? Like, because if it isn't, I've done the whole life. It isn't your will, whatever. But I was more like I was kind of like I was tired, I guess, of like having to like always see why things. So I was like, you know what? If it isn't, just blow it up. Like I don't even want to know why in it, bro. Like like sometimes this is why I don't believe in luck. But like sometimes, like something unlucky will happen. And you're like, oh, charge it. I'll fix that. And you fix it. And something more unlucky happens. You're like, charge that. I'll fix it, bro. After I prayed that prayer, it wasn't more than 24 hours. Just like unluckiness just piles up in it, and I'm thinking to myself like, and I'm looking at my friends are like, bro, like this is kind of unlucky. I'm looking at them like, bro, this is the greatest luck I've ever had, bro. Like this is saving me, bro. And like seeing that whole situation like unfold, I didn't even hear God say anything, but like I'm living my life every day, waking up, going ahead, living, and I'm seeing things fall out of place, things pointing towards stop, whatever. And like now I feel like I handled the situation well enough, and like I feel like I've just kind of like used what I've learned, sort of thing, with that idea of.
I was gonna say, like, in terms of like hearing from God as well. Like I think sometimes we overthink, like you don't even know if you like the person yet. You're trying to hear from God. So like when we talk about hearing from God, it's all, like what Bien said, it's about like praying the right prayers. Yeah. Because like, is this the one? bro, you haven't even taken her in. Like, you don't know if it's the one.
But
You get- I guess some people, some people don't want to go too far and then they find out. Yeah. But I don't think that's a. It's a little bit of a lazy prayer. I don't think that's. I'm not saying I can't. I'm not God. I'm not saying that's what you ask. But it's like you don't like.
It's cutting
Is this
corners.
the one?
It's cutting
you're
corners.
cutting-
You're cutting big corners because like.
And I know, and it's a lot of time it's out of fear, and I get it. I have grace. It's not like you're a bad person if you're praying that prayer, but it's also thinking about like if you are like on this dating journey, like you have to praying the right prayers is important because it's like you don't if you haven't even gotten to know the person, trying to I guess hear from God whether it is the person, it's not really. It's kind of.
I think
is it self-defeatist? Is that the word? Yeah,
it doesn't make sense because you're looking for the answer to a question that really and truly is only. I think Christians have made it seem like sometimes you see this whole idea of God revealing this person to you like it's a common thing. It's not.
Yeah.
It's so uncommon.
Because we read so much in the Bible that things get revealed so amazingly.
And I think
we think that's how
the gift of
standard
discerning
core
spirit,
is.
bro.
I say to people all the time. I ask them like, it's like cool. You see, and I think also it's what people are saying when they're asking, is she the one? Is also very different.
The intention of the
to what we
question
even
in that as
see
well,
in the
yeah.
Bible.
You know what's interesting though, like just because I'm listening to what you guys said, and I've initially been in that phase where I thought, that God will actually like speak it onto me and reveal it onto me. I think sometimes like I think it's harsh, but sometimes I feel like some of us we may feel like because it's the dating scene or because it's like us talking to a particular girl, we're actually forgetting about times in our life where we feel like, say for it's like a job opportunity, where we just call out, say, oh God, this is the job for me, and it doesn't happen, and it's like, oh, I'll keep on going. Sometimes we feel like when it comes to like a girl or guy that we're meeting, that it has to be different. That we have to
Because we
call
care.
up
Do you
Like,
think
we actually care about
another
it.
thing that whoops it as well? Yeah, you know them Christian couples, them Gara Christian couples, like,
Yeah.
and like when we met, like God said, I feel like
They don't help
it
matters.
builds up, like, for example, yeah.
When they go on the Perrys, bro. And
And also because I think not even in an idolization, I think sometimes in a healthy way, yeah, you see certain relationships that are healthy relationships, and when you hear their story, it's like, I want my
has
to
to
look
be,
like
yeah,
that.
has to
Do you
be
get
that,
it?
yeah.
Like for example, yeah,
People
I
watch
think
too
about.
many movies.
Do you know how I think about? You see, Soto and her husband.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard the story about how she had the wedding date?
Yeah.
And I was thinking, hey, what kind of bruv? Oh, something like that, man. And I think it's natural, like, because people was, be on TikTok or Insta, somebody, it's the wedding video. Oh,
This is
from when
how
I
I
met
found-
you, the God revealed, and people want that, and
Bro,
it's
Square
fair.
New was love at first sight, bro.
Do you get it? But I think that what people need to realize as well is that a couple of things about this. Soto actually said something very, very profound to me. So that summer, before I started speaking to my girlfriend, I was kind of deciding between a couple of different females.
Damn.
Relax.
That's a
Like,
good question.
so cool, wait,
See, talking to multiple women, I'd say.
yeah, no,
God,
cool. We'll get
yeah,
into
we
it.
have
I
to-
wasn't talking to multiple women. What happened was, there were two females that I had met in a purely platonic sense, innit? However, from my eye, I saw two pretty women who I got along with in purely platonic sense. I was thinking, hey, I know I'm going to shoot for one. It's just which one. Because I knew, I don't believe in you shouldn't be speaking to more than one, innit? So I'm thinking, which one am I?
Wait, say that again?
Like, you shouldn't be speaking to with romantic intent more than one.
Yeah. Oh,
So I'm
shit.
thinking,
So I thought you said you should.
Which,
I was
obviously, because
gonna
at the time I'm both decent friends with both of them, not like mad close friends, but I'm thinking, which one now? Which
You're
one?
on the field.
Did you cast lots?
I prayed and waited it out, and I'll tell you what happened in a second. But cool. So at this time, I was also picking between two job opportunities,
First.
and I spoke to my friend Soto, and she said something to me. She said, "Yeah, if you're earnestly seeking the face of God and praying to Him and leaving it to His will instead of yours, like, do you genuinely think that He will let you go amiss and not redirect you?" And she's like, if you're His child and He wants what's best for you and you want what He wants, it's almost impossible that you just go wrong. And I think that's why the fear thing, really and truly, because this morning I was reading Matthew chapter 8 about, you see when the disciples are on the boat with Jesus and the storm comes.
Yeah.
Well, something that's very interesting. You know that story is straight after the centurion story, where the centurion is like,
I don't even need to be here.
and I don't even need to be here. And
Yeah.
Christ is like, oh, this faith is like the greatest I've seen in
just
the whole
say a
Israel.
word, just say
And
a
then
word.
next, you see these people, and Jesus says, you have little faith. But something that's interesting in both circumstances, they both called on Christ in the time of need. So I was thinking, why is it that they both called on Christ, but one was little faith, one was the best in the whole country? And the difference is this: it's like when the disciples went to Jesus, said, "Oh, we're perishing, help us." You see their state; they're already in a state of fear. They don't trust Him. They're going to Him out of desperation almost.
Yeah.
Whereas the centurion has come to Him like, I trust that you will do it. It's just, is it in your will?
Yeah.
Do you get it? And I think that this is the thing with dating. It's like, what's your thought process? Is it that I'm scared this is gonna fail? Oh, I don't want to get hurt. Oh God, please just make it work for me. Or is it, God, I trust that your will work. Just show me what it is.
Yeah. If it's the first one, you're cooked from the beginning.
You're done
You're cooked
from the get go, bro.
Yeah,
You're
cooked from the beginning. And like you said, like something I was thinking about this morning, like what is Jesus' attitude towards those who let fear plague them? Do you get what I mean? Like think about like the Israel and Promised Land. Really and truly, obviously there was disobedience, but there was a lot of fear. Fear led to their disobedience.
Yeah.
And God didn't say calm. Do you get what I mean? In the same way with the parable of the talents. The one who what's it called?
Who hid it?
Who hid it? He hid it. He was scared.
Oh,
You wicked.
Perfect. Because why did he hide it? Because he was scared of his master.
Yeah.
And really and truly, as sad as it is, if you're seeking God in a relationship and fear is driving you, what it speaks to more than anything is a misunderstanding of the God you serve.
Yeah, go back
And
to basics.
it's natural, innit? Like in different situations, especially situations you haven't been in before, you kind of think that you don't know who God is almost.
Yeah.
You act like you haven't been there before.
Yeah.
But that's no different to any other situation where you've prayed. And I think this is the thing. We've been saying it for years. I feel like it's a conversation that comes in Pod Bible study so many times that seek the will of God in everything in your life so that the day it comes to a husband or big job opportunity, you're well versed in how to seek the face of God. Yeah. And it's like, this is the thing whereby now people saying, oh, like I didn't hear from God. When you applied for your job, you didn't ask. You didn't wait for that.
Yeah.
When you ate your breakfast, did you wait for God to speak to you? No, you didn't.
It's like Daniel. Like when the danger came to Daniel, and they said they were gonna when he was about to be thrown in the den and all of that. It says that Daniel got up and prayed 3 times a day, just as he always did.
Yeah.
So when
nothing changed
with his routine. When the trouble came, he was live. Do you get what I mean? And like you said, you have to have the same process and pattern when it comes to these things. But I think sometimes we get, which is understandable, you get edgy when it's a different ground. You're not playing the same ground, but that's what
serious, innit?
But that's what cooks me in my first relationship, because I didn't see it as something as I needed to steward in the same way that I have to steward the things of God. Because I thought, because this is a relationship or this is romantic, it has to go. I have to change the way I look at it or change the way I handle it. And that's what cooks me. And so it's important to know that if you're starting this journey, the same way you have to steward your personal devotion to God, the same way you steward, your service in the house of God, the same way you steward your family, the same way you steward your finances, the same way you steward your academics or work, whatever it is the same way you have to steward your relationship. You can't be on a lay thing. Because I think as well, especially for the man them here, when you're in the world, being on a lay thing was applauded. How nonchalant can you be and still have your girl? That was great. How little effort can you put in, or how what's it called? How
it's an efficiency thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
how much can you get out from
putting in little? Yeah. You don't want to look too catty. You don't want to look like you're doing bare. Like, bro, man, them will see each other on Snapchat, see some guy doing bare. Look at late. This guy's late. Is he doing that because his girl's gonna leave?
You know, I saw recently on my Snap memories. We used to have this massive conversation in the manner about who was the biggest date man.
Yeah, being a date man was bad.
Why are you doing all that for?
This guy's a date man.
Bro, I remember that. I was having that debate about people saying, remember the whole thing about the 6-hour walk? Was it a date? Wasn't it a date?
Yeah.
And it's like, I think it's true. And I think that's the kind of stuff that can throw you off a lot. And I think that the fear, you see, even when you get into a relationship, all those kind of things, if fear is what kind of, how you arrive there, it's going to affect what you do when you're there. Yeah. And about, am I doing too much? Am I not? Is this what God wants or not? Because that's how you started.
Yeah.
And it's the foundation that you set for your relationship. And the thing is, in that situation, the sad reality is either there's going to have to be a major reworking of the foundation, or it's just going to collapse.
Yeah.
And that is quite a shame.
You have to persevere through the fear. I'll never forget the words that AOJ gave me when I started dating, and she was like, feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah.
Like, you have to feel that fear and you have to keep on going. You have to just persevere through it, because that's how you're going to be able to reap the reward, man. Like, that's how you're going to have to reap the reward. I'm sure Caleb and Joshua felt a bit of fear in the Promised Land, but they were like, you know what? God has spoken. I know that we have his backing. We're going to go. Do you get what I mean? And so I think that's one of the most important things.
And I think it's interesting because something that Axe didn't mention, is that, apologies if you don't want me to share this, but I'm going to share it anyway. So you see, I'm not, you see what he said about how we were around at the time when he had the thought that he shouldn't speak to her. He came to us, and what he told us, we trusted him. If you remember, we trusted him at first. We said, if you've heard, calm in it. Like, we didn't really check him on it. We just said, because he kind of sounded like he knew what he was talking about. So he's like, say nothing in it, cool, bro. Then there was one time, were you not cool? Me, you, and Jeff.
What happened in the call?
when Axe wasn't there and then he came back.
I don't remember.
Wait.
Cool.
I know the cool you're talking
So
about.
anyways, yeah. So after a while, I could tell. I've known Axe for what? Now it's like 10 years. I've known Axe for more than 10 years. At the time, innit? I remember Axe said to me one thing about her. And I said, bro, I know you like this girl, bro. Don't try to give me this bongo stuff. But obviously, he had said like, you know, like, kind of God said thing. I was just like, I hear it. And that's when we had the conversation about pressing into the thought. And I think that this is why firstly you shouldn't hide stuff from your friends because your friends are not emotional how you are when you like somebody.
Yeah.
And so they can kind of see it a bit more objectively to tell you to kind of check your mirrors. And I think that then, because the thing about hearing from God is one of the
Good
times-
friends.
Good friends.
You know what? Yeah, just
Bad friends
just,
until
I
they blow
think
up.
It's just come to my head.
Hey, real.
There was one. I do agree in terms of like the friends like holding you accountable, especially when it comes to faith. Because there was one point in the relationship. I won't say the actual scenario, but it could have gone very, very left in it. And it was based on the level of fear that I put into the relationship that spun her, that spun me. And I remember when I shared it to, I think it was Bien and Jeff who were in the call that time. And I think they didn't give me any advice on how to navigate. I can't go too much in detail because it's personal, innit? But
Sorry, is that the 4-0 down?
yeah,
Montada
yeah,
day?
yeah.
Insane.
Just
I
before
remember,
absolute,
yeah.
you guys,
Insane,
yeah,
insane.
you guys all know innit. And then you know, just before Valentines innit. And I remember I got left to sort the situation by God's grace. Actually went God like. Actually spoken to God. And the thing is, as you guys were saying, you're not going to be, receiving like a conversation back, but, God will
have an
show
inner
you in the
witness,
right
bro.
way. You know what I'm saying? And I always like reflect on like Jeremiah 33 3 where it says, call and I will answer. But the way, it will answer could be in different ways. So I remember when it came to that and I went out to sort the situation ended up, being all right. And I came back to call the man them. Like basically every single one of the guys like held me accountable and absolutely like got
we got onto you.
Absolutely got onto me. And you know what it is? After
By
that,
the way, guys, he wasn't cheating because I feel
No,
like
no, 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 no.
I feel like that disclaimer's
Oh,
important.
yeah,
I feel like
but
when
then
people
someone hears something is mad, yeah.
It sounds bad.
it weren't no cheating. No, anything that happened.
Got your back, bro.
It was a comment that was said, but it was behind it. It was like the rationale behind it made sense, but it was just the delivery of it, innit? What to anything rash it?
Girls care a lot about
delivery matters.
Yeah. But it made me
made him feel
realize.
safe.
It made me realize as well that it made me realize as well, like especially in the times of your walk, there's going to be times where you're going to be left by yourself, and it's not even in like relationships, but in anything that you do, you will be left by yourself to try and navigate in that situation. But the importance of friends uprooting you, because I'm not gonna lie, if I didn't have like the man them like holding me accountable and actually slapping some sense into me, then it would have the amount of blessings I would have blocked. That's what you're saying, Squared. That level of fear could block, a level of blessings and things that God can reveal to you. I think it plays a massive part.
We'd have missed out on the shower of peace, bro.
I can't lie. I would have missed out because I can't lie. I would have still, but I think I was still happy though that I wouldn't regret anything that went through in that season, because it's like it made me realize, different ways of how I can navigate myself in relationships, and what and how important friends are in it, to try and knock some sense.
I think similarly, like in the least far away, I think without you lot and some other friends, I wouldn't be in my relationship now. I think
yeah, we know that.
Just give me a good see out of it.
Like I can even tell you, there was a time where basically it was looking rocky. I can't lie, I was tweaking in it, but it was looking rocky in it. I came out of a heated conversation with my girlfriend in there. I can't lie, in that call. When I told you I was like this close to say I banned this. And then directly after that, I went bowling with the man. I called DSQ after in it, and DSQ, I remember he said this thing to me. He said, "Before you ever point the finger, you have to look in the mirror and ask yourself, are you blameless affairs, isn't it?"
Pick up that. Curse that.
And it's like I think that having obviously because like when you're irate at somebody, you just think, why did I like this? And it's like sometimes you need somebody to tell you, what about you though? And it's like people that can hold you accountable, even like from the very beginning. It's like, so as I said, that before I spoke to myself, I'll just give a brief run through. So I met my girlfriend at my friend's baptism. She was a mutual friend. And she ended up sitting next to each other. I can't lie, I'm a bad guy, I'm in church in it, but I was actually quite calm though. And then, long story short, that's funny.
The way people
God forgive us both, but we were busting up because some guy must have done some rap testimony
As baptism.
at the church service, innit, bro. We were busting up. So obviously, we just kind of end up conversation. And after all the friends of the person who got baptized, we ended up just like chilling together, got to know whatever, and then we're brethren. From there, kind of became cool friends, whatever. And then at the time, I didn't really think too much of it. Then the week after, yeah, she denies this, innit? But she must have sent me a snap. Like, I think she was going out. She's got ready. I was with Tommy, innit? I should have Tommy said, me and Tommy were like, what?
She sent you a snap of her getting ready.
Like after she got ready, like she was. I'm thinking,
Come on, man.
Ali, you, bro.
Dunk it. She just act like this never
It wasn't
happened.
even that
innit?
alley, you know. Dwayne Wade to LeBron. Never mind.
Yeah, it wasn't. He just-
Apparently,
he
yeah,
just-
he just right, yeah.
But then, so cool, anyway, so.
No, it wasn't, yeah.
But then at the time, I was in uni, final year,
Mandela
innit?
effect.
And I'm like, I'm not in the ends to really follow anything up anyway. So let me just wait till somehow we got good conversation. And at the time, we were both looking for a church. So when I came back, we both ended up going to that same church where the baptism was a couple times. So bumped into each other, had conversations, whatever. Calm. And then we're like, all right, let's link up kind of thing, innit? And it's funny because the first time we planned to link up, innit? I remember it was like a Monday, summer holidays, yeah. The Sunday night I was praying and I was gonna book the reservation for where we're gonna go, innit? I think it was like mini golf time. And Sam was telling me, I'm not saying God said it, but I was praying after. Sam was like, don't book the reservation yet. I wake up in the morning, you know the one that text, sorry. I think I abandoned this girl, bro. I'm blowing it up, innit? But I was like, do you know what? It's not that deep, innit? Then after we linked up eventually, and that day I was like, yeah, I'm live. As soon as I linked up, I was like, yeah, I'm live.
Oh, that day you saw you linked, you said, yeah.
I remember we had a man in prayer call that time. We had a man in prayer call. I think it was on a Friday evening.
Yeah, I remember this.
And I was on the way to, at the time, there was actually a time for this. Me and her went for breakfast one time as brethren, innit? And obviously, my thing was, I'm going to see how it goes. Because I never wanted to, this is one thing actually. You see this whole thing about how to navigate the approach to a girl. The question, in my personal opinion, I think the question when people think you're going to move to them is when you ask them, do you have a man or do you have a girl? As soon as you say that, the automatic assumption is you have a romantic intent.
Yeah.
So I made sure not to ask that question until I knew I was going to move to her.
Yeah.
Because I knew that the moment you say that, it changes the dynamic of the friendship.
Yeah, no, it does.
So we've gone out.
That's not really a need to know question for a friend. I guess.
You
not
get
really,
me?
yeah.
Like,
So obviously,
yeah.
we've linked up for breakfast and that. I'm like, cool. Let me just pay in it, just to kind of just leave a foot there.
You got it like that,
You don't pay for your female friends.
Sometimes I do. Sometimes it depends on the payday. But then when we're in the car on the way back, she said something. She didn't say somebody bought her flowers, but she insinuated about getting. I think there was a situation where her friend got flowers or something.
You got
And she
the
was saying
fake
how,
man uncle.
she said something along the lines of, if someone got her flowers, she'd know who did it.
Oh.
I said, eee. But I said, I'm thinking, she ain't said she has a man.
What does
so
that
let me
mean?
know. I'm like, and I back myself in it. I think that's another thing as a guy.
Oh, you got back.
This
Have
is
confidence. You
This
need
is not
confidence.
Christian
Yeah.
or secular or whatever. Nobody
confidence.
wants somebody who's moist.
He's not confident,
Imagine
He's not confident.
imagine if when the angel said to Joseph, you need to take your family to Egypt, he said, oh God, but I'm not sure. Mary understood that this guy, he's this guy, bro. So then obviously after that first link, I'm like, okay, cool. We're like, yeah, like we'll link up again kind of thing, innit? So I'm like, so from there, I'm like, can't lie, amp up the press a little bit. Long story short, so we've linked up, and I was like, yeah, I'm live, innit? That day I was like, yeah, I'm live. And at this point, I still hadn't asked whether she did or didn't have something, but I'm just thinking, I'm live.
To
innit?
this
So-
day.
No, now I know.
Oh.
But now I know. And so then cool. After that happened, so then now I'm thinking about how do I navigate the thing of now making it known I rate you kind of thing.
Yeah.
And obviously I was also shook of this thing because this was the first time when it had kind of, since I come to Christ, we had a couple of small, but nothing. I never spoke to somebody for a prolonged period of time, innit? So I'm thinking, what am I gonna do here? So then now, but I know I'm gonna move to her, like put the foot on the gas kind of thing. But I'm just thinking, I'm making up tactics, innit? Then one time, so I said how we went to same church for that small period of time. When we come back one day, she was, she knew I was graduating. She said, oh, what are you doing for graduation? And I wasn't actually gonna invite her. And now she's asked me. I said, oh yeah, like, once I'm on the graduation thing, I was gonna invite you with your brethren. I wasn't in it. Because I was like, in my head, I was like, in the next 2 weeks, by that time, I would have shown you angles. So then it's like,
Yeah.
and then she's calm in it. And I remember something happened. So one of my boys said to me, wow, who's that girl in the white though? But obviously, I can't say that's my girl because she's not. I can't say it's the girl I'm talking to because it's not. Something what I do here. So I said to him, I bro bake, innit? I said, I bro bake. He's like, what? Is that your part? I said, bro,
What was the man?
I remember.
Mercy.
I'm like, bro, just bake. Man's not there, but man's there, innit? And then at one point, obviously my graduation was mad busy, innit?
Yeah.
She pulled me aside and we just gone for a walk. I said, yeah, I'm live. More than live.
I saw it.
Alright.
To pull the man of the honor from his own celebration.
And he goes.
And he goes.
I think I got a video, you know.
Is it?
Yes.
And I was kind of brazen because there's like 200 people in the hall, bare aunties and that, and she just.
I'm bear in mind.
Oh, so you like the way she took her.
I'm like,
took her for it.
Bear in mind, even I don't know if you man, but even like at the thing, you man were just
they're
always together, innit? So like
I knew from then.
So from there I was like, oh calm, like
Yeah,
that must be huge. Because I hadn't seen it. I was like, that must be. And then you man just disappeared. I was like, bro, he's not here. She's not here.
I hope it was pure.
We were walking around in the hall. Gotta make sure. But then obviously what's happened next is I'm thinking, cool, what am I gonna do in it? So next day I'm talking to Tommy. We're talking about the debrief of the day before kind of thing. But I think that day she went out. So I think I said, oh, like you don't know if I can enjoy yourself kind of thing. And she fried out.
Oh,
It was on iMessage. She screenshotted it and put it on her private story, but she put it on the wrong private. I remember that. So obviously, I've seen it in it, and I'm on the phone to Tommy in it. I'm washing dishes. I see it. I'm like, "Hey, Tom, what do we do?" So then I've gone back to reread what she said in it, and it's gone off the story because she's clocked. She's put on the wrong private. So then I'm like, ah. And obviously, you see, in the world, yeah, a girl that you rate shows you angle, foot on the gas.
Yeah.
Simple. From there, you're live, bro. What are you doing Monday? You know the one's there.
Why Monday?
It's the next day after the weekend. so then, but what I decided to do, I took a moment and I was like, do you know what? If I'm being honest, I do rate her, but I can't say before God that if I say, yeah, I rate you, like, let's get together, like, let's be a thing kind of thing. I can't stand before God and say confidently, I know that that's something he'd be okay with. Do you get me?
You have to go.
So then obviously I bailed her. I said, right, what are you saying? And she's like, you know, because I feel like, I'm like, bro, like I didn't know you saw what I saw. You know what I'm saying? What kind of thing. And then she's like, no, she captioned it saying like, I love it here, I'm never leaving.
Damn.
So I'm like,
By the way, he said he didn't know when she captioned it.
Yeah, he does it.
I remember. So I'm just like, so I'm like,
You're not gonna forget that caption, are you?
Nah, never.
No, you're not.
I think shit. No, I don't have a shit. I'm like trying to say like, what gone? And obviously, so then I'm like, I do rate you, but however, the straight up, I'm not gonna come here and tell you I rate you. I want to be with you. Like my process, I'm gonna pray on it and see what I go on kind of thing. And from that moment is when I feel like she knew, like he's not just on a vibes kind of thing. And I think that that's what the process has to kind of look like. I think in the sense that there should always be some kind of pre-stage of you lot getting to know each other. And I think because the danger is that you don't want you lot to get too close and then you realise things about them that you actually don't want to be with this person.
Very true.
And then it's like, it would be on your fault because you didn't do your due diligence. And in terms of the hearing from God, I think people sometimes make it think that it has to be this specific right person you have to choose to speak to. If God makes that clear to you, hey, that's between you and God in it, but it doesn't, that's not.
You'll see the fruits.
You know, apart from, in the Bible, apart from Adam and Eve, there's very few examples where God singles out a woman for a man. It says he who finds a wife finds a good thing. I'm not saying that there's no biblical precedent for God setting something up for you that's in his will. If he makes it clear, he makes it clear. But it's like, a lot of times it comes from observation. I read Ruth last year. That was one of the books I studied last year.
Yeah,
the way people make it seem like Ruth is some swashbuckling love story. I don't know what Bible
It's
you
not,
like read
bro.
it. It's just not. Like, firstly, it was kind of just a situational thing from them Orpah having to leave, whatever. But on top of that, it was from observation, from them getting to know each other, from seeing. And he's clocked, wow, she's a good woman. Yeah. She's got good characteristics. And then obviously, her mom's kind of like, yo. And that's even the role of somebody that's in your corner that can show you this is a good thing.
Yeah.
Or this would be a good person for you. Because I remember there was times when, I think there's times when I feel like I haven't seen the best, or I've been very critical. I think I can be very pessimistic at times. And sometimes my friends are like, bro, hey, you got a good one, bro. And it's like, having people that...
We reminded you.
Sometimes you got to.
Yeah, it's like having people that can make you remember why you're there in the first place. And I think even, because sometimes it's the fear that will make you think, oh, but this, but that, but this, but that. And I think it's also being okay with taking your fears to God instead of acting on them. Because I remember when a couple of months into when we started talking, I started seeing some things, not moved. I was going to blow it up and I took it to God. And I remember there was a time there was a time when I think I said something.
You know, we sound so reactionary when we're like...
When they're not watching the story, when they went there.
Like, and it's so funny because I remember I prayed on this particular thing, innit? I prayed and I said, God, and God's like, let me cook. Swear down, the next day, she's called me, I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, I'm doing da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, I was thinking like this. I was like, I swear down, it was the direct answer to the question I asked her the day before.
Swear.
And that was one of the moments I said, oh, say nothing.
Yeah, you're live.
Say nothing. And it's like, I'm not saying that you're going to get that kind of confirmation, but it's a simple criteria like this. Does it, when you look at love in the Bible, I'm not even talking romantically in terms of how you should sharpen somebody, how you should pour in somebody, how you should be there for somebody.
I should clean someone, bro.
Would this person reflect that? That's number one. Number two, also just a common sense thing of you have an idea of where you want to go in life and where do you want to go in life. Do those two things align? You want to go and be a missionary across the world. They want to, I don't know, build a school in London and stay here forever. Common sense should tell you something's going to have to budge or this doesn't make sense. Also, just as like, people sometimes look at spiritual disciplines too much in the sense that you like the way that they pray and they read their Bible, but you lot don't even get along. What? It's very, very weird behavior.
You can't be arguing and then you're like, let's just read. And like, no, don't work like that. Like, you can't be arguing and then you turn up the worship music. Like, you have to iron it out. You know what I mean?
I feel like sometimes us Christians do that, like, because they're Christian, they're very mature. It means they're attractive. It means you're gonna like them.
And I've heard relationships go wrong because of this. Where it's like, where I've heard a girl say kind of the thing of like, not like.
What if they stop praying the way they used to pray or reading the way they used to read? Like, what do you do? You just tap out.
Krab's dad said this thing about how there's gonna be times in your life where your woman will not be that same woman that she once was when you met her. For example, when she's going through childbirth and whatnot, what are you going to be saying? Oh, let's tarry. Like, there's certain times in life where you're going to have to be there for her in a way that she wasn't there at the beginning. And that's why it has to go deeper. There has to be a friendship. There has to be a real bond. And it's like, and I think that also, a large part of that is, you have to look at them and think about, cool, where I'm going, what I'm doing in my life. Can I see how they make a tangible impact on that in a positive way?
If she ain't with the vision.
If she ain't with the vision, word to Pastor Eric. And it's like, and I remember there's a guy called Pastor Bayo. We went to a church event there, and he said this thing. He said, from when he met his wife, he said he knows, from when he's met and how he's gotten to know, he knows that how much of his destiny he achieves is directly linked to how she is in his life. He said even if she leaves, he won't leave her because he knows he needs this woman to be the man that he needs to be. Yeah, and it's like
I feel that, man.
And I think that's deeper. That's what you want to be looking towards. Not what you should be looking for at the beginning, but you want to be looking, could this person potentially have that impact in my life?
As I said, bro, you look at the glory self, you look at what God can, as Tim Keller says, what God can make. And you want to be a part of that synergy, bro.
That's something that God told me from the beginning is you're not looking for a finished product.
Nah, you're not.
You want to be a part of that synergy to make her that glory self, that thing that God wants her to be. And when you see that, this is what God wants her to be, and you want to be a part of that, is a beautiful thing.
And also when you see what God wants you to be and you see how this woman could help you be that, or how this guy could help you be that.
Click for the girls, innit?
So yeah, man.
Hey.
Go
find yours, man.
God's will.
Shout her, innit?
It's cool, so.
That's too funny.
Fucking, bro.
Yeah, in a bit.
Krabs dodged bare bullets this episode. Oh my word.
Yeah. You know, you can't like
Krabs dodged bare bullets. No hot seat. Krabs dodged so many bullets.
Hot seat whatsoever.